Hi there, and welcome to day 4 of the 2019 Christmas Bonanza. 8 videos in 8 days, starting on Christmas Day and ending on New Year's Day. So today we've got some European O-scale action going on. This is a Railion TRAXX F140 AC1 electric. It's made by MTH, and we're going to check it out today on Eric's Trains. Alright, so what you're looking at here is an engine that I've been wanting to review for quite a long time. This engine was originally cataloged by MTH back in 2012. It shipped in 2013, and then I finally picked one up in 2018. And the reason for the delay was because, it was sort of on my list of things to get, but it wasn't a high priority. And so I waited a while, and then finally in 2018 I said, you know what, I better get one of these before they're gone. And I went ahead and picked one up, and now here I am in 2019 reviewing it. Now, the reason I have not reviewed this yet is because it kind of got put on the back burner, and that was because my original plan was to get some modern European freight cars to go with this engine, so that when I reviewed it, I'd be able to run it with some prototypical freight cars, some of the MTH BP tank cars and the gondolas and so forth. Unfortunately, as of right now, I have not yet picked up any modern European freight cars from MTH. So whatever I decide to run with this engine today, it's not going to be correct. Now, I do have some MTH European rolling stock. I've got the Orient Express passenger cars, and I've also got some beer wagons. But neither of those would be appropriate to run behind this, so I don't know what I'll do. Maybe we'll just go, in for a penny, in for a pound, and go completely crazy and run it with some American rolling stock. That'll definitely drive some people up the wall. Now, the reason I decided to go ahead and do a video on this engine, despite the fact that I don't have the proper rolling stock to go with it, is because of you, the viewers. I've actually had this engine sitting around my turntable for the last year, and a lot of you guys have seen it in the background of a lot of other review videos that I've done, and I've probably gotten a couple dozen messages over the last year from viewers asking, hey, what is that engine in the background and can we see it? So, well, here we are. So I'm going to try to give you a little bit of history on the TRAXX F140, but I'm going to keep it really brief for 2 reasons. First of all, this is the Bonanza, and I need to get this video done quickly. And secondly, I'm not from Europe. I'm not an expert in European trains, and so if I start going into a lot of detail, I'll probably end up sounding like an idiot. But the TRAXX product line is a modular product platform of diesel-electric and electric locomotives built by Bombardier Transportation, and they're built in both freight and passenger variants. The TRAXX name itself is an acronym that stands for Transnational Railway Applications with Extreme Flexibility. So what does that mean? Well, my admittedly rudimentary understanding is that the purpose of the TRAXX product line is to have a single locomotive that is capable of operating over the various rail networks in Europe. Because while there is an interconnected system of rails in Europe, my understanding is that depending on what country you're in, there could be a different voltage, or it could be AC or DC, or there could be a different Hertz rating. And so if you had a traditional locomotive, you might end up having to switch locomotives every time you got to a different country. So the TRAXX product line was designed with that in mind, so that with a single locomotive, the locomotive itself can change modes and operate across all of those different systems in Europe. So TRAXX locomotives were primarily made for the railways of Germany, but orders have also come in from other countries, including France, Israel, Switzerland, Sweden, Norway, Italy, Belgium, Luxembourg, Poland, Spain, Hungary, South Africa, and the Netherlands. The TRAXX locomotives are developed in Switzerland and Italy, and final assembly of the vehicles is done in either Germany or Italy. The TRAXX F140 AC, which is what we have here, was manufactured between 1999 and 2006. It operates on AC overhead lines and is designed to work under both the 16.7 Hz and the 50 Hz AC systems. The road name that we have here is Railion, and I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Railion is short for Railion Logistics, which became known as DB Cargo in 2009. And that is the management company for the rail freight business unit of Deutsche Bahn. Deutsche Bahn which literally translates to German train as far as I know, is obviously a German company. Now DB Cargo, or Railion, has its headquarters in Mainz, Germany, while its parent company Deutsche Bahn is headquartered in Berlin. Alright, so that's all the history I'm going to give you, and hopefully I didn't get too much wrong. Now, what would be really nice is if someone in my European audience would indulge us and provide some more information on the TRAXX F140 AC in the comments below. If someone in Europe wants to do that and I see it and I think it's good, I'll pin those comments to make it easier for other viewers to read. So now let's talk about MTH European O-Scale. MTH has been making European O-Scale models for, gosh, maybe 9 or 10 years now, and they've gotten pretty good at it. Now, they're still offering European O-Scale in their most recent catalogs, but I get the impression that the stuff in the newer catalogs is simply unsold stock that they're trying to get rid of. I really don't think they're making a whole lot of new European O-Scale at the moment. Hopefully that'll change at some point in the future. Now, one of the really nice things about MTH European O-Scale locomotives is how versatile they are, because they designed them with a European audience in mind, obviously, but they also wanted them to appeal to an American audience. And so for that reason, these locomotives are sold and designed to operate in a variety of different modes depending on what you want. So for example, you can buy this as either a 2-rail or 3-rail model, and either one will convert to the other. So if you get the 2-rail model, it'll convert to 3-rail, and if you get the 3-rail, it'll convert to 2-rail. Also, with the couplers up front, you know, this has the standard big lobster claw O-gauge coupler, which is not very prototypical, especially for a European engine. But packaged in the box when you buy the engine, they've also got a selection of European style couplers. So if you want to, you can remove this one and install the more prototypical European style couplers. Very cool. Also, the pantographs are operating, so if you want to, you can run the engine from track power like I'm doing, or with a switch on the bottom of the engine, you can enable the pantographs and draw the power from a catenary line. Control-wise, the engine includes Protosound 3.0 with MTH's digital command system. It also has DCC on board, and you can operate the engine conventionally with just a transformer and some track. So in a nutshell, whether you're in the European audience or the American audience, 2-rail or 3-rail, track power or catenary power, DCS, conventional, or DCC, MTH has thought of it and they've got you covered. Now, because this is the Bonanza and I need to get this video finished and move on to day 5, I'm not going to go in close and show you all of the details on this model like I normally would, but I will say that my favorite feature on this locomotive by far is the operating pantographs. Now, as I said, if you want to, you can actually draw power from a catenary line through the pantographs, but even if you don't do that, they still automatically move up and down when you change directions. And I must say, these are some of the smoothest operating automatic pantographs I've seen. MTH did a fantastic job with them. Okay, so now without further ado, let's power this thing up and have some fun with it. Okay, first up, let's check out the horn, and for you American guys, keep in mind, this is not going to sound like an American horn. Sounds different, doesn't it? Kind of sounds like a bicycle horn. And now here's the bell sound. I'm not sure if these engines actually have bells, but there is a bell sound provided anyway. So the crew talk sounds are all in German, and here's a sample of that.
Hallo Leitstelle, stehe seit über 5 Minuten vor rotem Signal. Was ist los?
Now, I don't speak German, so offhand I don't know what they're saying. However, I do have the Google Translate app on my iPhone, so let's point the mic towards the engine and see what they're saying.
Hallo Leitstelle, stehe seit über 5 Minuten vor rotem Signal. Was ist los?
All right. And there it is. Hello, Control Center. There has been a red signal for over 5 minutes. That's pretty cool. Let's try another one.
Irgendetwas stimmt nicht mit dem Signal. Bitte noch warten. Wir müssen klären, was los ist.
Sounded like it was something about a signal. Well, let's find out. Yep, something is wrong with the signal. Please wait, we have to clarify what's going on. And let's try one more just for fun.
Bitte noch warten. Zuerst muss der Intercity 1078 ausfahren, dann geht's weiter.
Something tells me it's not going to get this completely right. Please wait and then continue. Well, that seemed like a long-winded way to say that, so maybe Google Translate isn't 100% perfect, but you get the gist. The last thing I want to show you, of course, is the operating pantograph, so let's go ahead and do that. And by the way, if you don't want the pantographs to go up at all, they can be disabled with a switch on the underside of the engine. Okay, so I've got some of my MTH beer wagons coupled up behind the TRAXX F140 AC. And again, I know they're completely inappropriate to run with a modern electric engine, but there's not a lot I can do about it because I don't have anything appropriate to run. And I decided to run the beer wagons rather than the Orient Express cars because the beer wagons have had less screen time. In fact, I'm not even sure I've ever run these on screen before. If I have, it's only been 1 or 2 times. So anyway, let's go ahead and roll it out.
Stehe seit über 5 Minuten vor rotem Signal. Was ist los? Irgendetwas stimmt nicht mit dem Signal. Bitte noch warten. Wir müssen klären, was los ist. Hallo Kollege, dein Problem mit dem Signal wiegt 120 Tonnen und steht vor dir auf der Strecke. Ach ja, die gibt's ja auch noch. Hätte dich fast vergessen. Bitte noch warten. Zuerst muss der Intercity 1078 ausfahren, dann geht's weiter. Bitte antworten. Verstanden? Antworten. Bitte langsam fahren. Intercity 1078 bleibt bis zum nächsten Halt vor dir. Alles klar. Intercity 1078 bis zum nächsten Halt voraus. Danke. In Ordnung. Gute Fahrt. Okay, bis dann.
All right, that about wraps it up for day 4. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, if you're interested in purchasing one of these, MTH did them in several different road names. However, it may be a bit of a challenge to find one because, as I said, these were made several years back. But my guess is that if you look hard enough, you will be able to find one. The original retail price was right at $450, and I imagine if you can find one, you'll get it for around that price or maybe a little less. I don't think these have gone up in value or anything like that. Anyway, if you'd like to support Eric's Trains, I would greatly appreciate it. You can do that through Patreon at www.patreon.com/ericstrains. And if you'd like to buy an Eric's Trains t-shirt or anything else I might be selling, you can check out the Eric's Trains online store at www.ericstrains.com/store. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm Eric Siegel, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 5. So now let's talk about European O-scale. Oops. Control-wise, the engine has Proto-Sound 3.0 with MTH's, whether you like track power or catenary power, catenary power. Did I say that right? Catenary power. These are also forgotten. Hello, colleague. No problem with the signal is 120% in front of you on the route. Well, that doesn't sound like a perfect translation. Alright, so now without further ado, let's power this thing up and have some fun with it. Maybe. Alright, so let's go ahead and roll it out. Oops, wrong direction.